In today's Adobe Illustrator tutorial, we will create really cool owl. You will learn how to make realistic eyes and will use this technique for your own future characters. In the second part of this video, you will also see how to change usual gradients to this awesome noise texture to add some atmosphere and depth. We'll illustrate Amazing Owl using almost only Ellipse tool. Only a few parts will be created with Rectangle and Pen tool. These tools are enough to create really cool artwork. We'll keep it simple, but we'll get great professional results. You're watching TNT Tutorials. Let's move on and create a new document. Go to Print A4, in Advanced Options select RGB and choose Horizontal Orientation. Click on Create. You can get these colors by the link in the video description. Let's create owl's body, pick I for eyedropper tool, pick this bright color, L for ellipse tool, and draw oval like this. Then go for rectangle tool, press N, draw rectangle here and here. Then press V for selection tool, select them all, press Shift plus M, hold Alt, and delete these parts. I see that I want to change proportions here a bit. Then deselect this object, go for eyedropper tool, pick this dark color, L for ellipse tool, and create oval here. I will zoom in and place this ellipse here. Let's make a copy, hold Alt, drag it like this, and then press Ctrl plus D. We should have 5 copies. Let's scale them like this. Then press Ctrl G to group them, select all these objects, go to Properties panel, in Align, select Horizontal Align Center. As you can see, we have a little gap here. Let's move these ellipses up like this. Alright, then select all these objects, Shift plus M, and delete unnecessary parts. I will check if we need to delete anything else. No, we don't. Deselect these objects, and let's create owl's head. Eyedropper tool, pick this bright color, press L for ellipse tool, draw ellipse like this, press V for selection tool, select all objects, horizontal align center again, then place this ellipse like this, scale it like so. I will zoom in again, right click on this ellipse, arrange, send to back. Then go for direct selection tool, pick this point and drag it here. Then I'll zoom out, zoom in to this point, A for direct selection tool, selecting this point and drag it here. Right after this, let's create wings. I for eyedropper tool, pick this dark color, press P for pen tool, click here, drag this point like this, and click second time here. Drag this point like so. Now hold Alt and move this handle like this. Connect it with this point. V for selection tool, right click, arrange, send to back. We need to change proportions a bit. A for direct selection tool, select this object, select this point, and move your points until you will get satisfying results. Alright, so now we need to reflect this wing to right side. To do this, go here and pick Reflect tool. Hold Alt and drag this point here. It will snap to the center of this little ellipse. You will see it snaps. Then this menu will appear when you will release Alt key, select Vertical, Preview, and click on Copy. Great, so now we have a copy of this wing. Let's create owl's beak. We'll use Pen tool to do this. I for eyedropper tool, pick this yellow color, P for pen tool, click here, 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 and connect these points. After this, hold Alt, drag this object like this, go to Properties panel, click here, flip along horizontal axis. I will zoom in, move this object like this, and I will apply a little bit darker color. Double click on Fill icon, and let's pick color like this. Now let's select them both, change proportions if you want to. I will zoom out. Yes, I want to make this big smaller. I will scale it like this. Then press Ctrl G to group it. Let's also group wings. Select them both and press Ctrl G. Now select all these objects, go to Properties and check if they are all aligned, horizontal align center. Now let's create these weird parts here. We'll use pen tool for this, I for eyedropper tool, pick this dark color, P for pen tool, and just draw a line like this. Hold shift, drag it like so, then click here. Don't worry, we will change proportions after this. You can click anywhere, you can click even here. And like this. Now go here and click on Swap Fill and Stroke. Now A for Direct Selection tool. Place these points like this. You should have soft curve. Soft curve like this. I will zoom in a little bit. Now go to Properties panel, click on Stroke, Profile, and select this profile. Now change width. Great, let's stop on something like this. If you want to make this curve softer or change proportions, just do it like this. You can see that I moved my object with Direct Selection tool. I will press Ctrl Z to undo this. To avoid this, pick point that you want to use and then move it. Press V for Selection tool. Go to Object, Expand Appearance. And after this, if you pick A for Direct Selection tool, you can see that you have too many points here. You can't handle with them all. So we need to get rid of them all and leave only a few of them. Go to Object, Path, Simplify. Click on Preview. Play with values. You should have 4 points just like me. One here, and 2 points in the center. Click OK. And now you can change proportions like this. I think it's very cool. Then press V for Selection tool, deselect this object, then select it again, go for Reflect tool, hold Alt, click here, and click on Copy. Great, so now we have copy of this object. Select them both, press Ctrl G to group them. If you need to change proportions, change them like this. Now hold Alt, drag them like so, change proportions like this, holding Alt. I will zoom out, I for eyedropper tool, pick this color, and let's place this object behind this one. Alright, you can do it in Layers panel. Let's have a look at the reference. Alright. If you need to change proportions after this, just ungroup these objects, change proportions to one of them. Don't be afraid to change anything anytime. You should get the best results you can. I think I'm happy with this one. I will delete this. Select this object. Reflect tool, hold Alt, and click on this point. Click on Copy. Alright, you can change proportions like this. Direct Selection tool, select these 2 points. Now I see that I want to change head proportions a bit. A for Direct Selection tool, pick this point, hold Shift and drag it like this. Alright, now it looks much better, I think. Let's place beak to the top of this object, arrange, bring to front. I for eyedropper tool, pick this color. L for ellipse tool, draw ellipse like this. Then press Ctrl C, Ctrl F, pick this color, press V for Selection tool, make it smaller like this, place it here, then Ctrl C, Ctrl F again, I will zoom in a bit, scale it like this, then pick this yellow color, then Ctrl C, Ctrl F again, scale this object like this, pick this dark color. After this, let's select them all, place somewhere here, move them down behind these layers, scale them like so. Alright, I'm happy with this position. Now deselect all these objects, select only yellow one, Ctrl C, Ctrl F, double click on Gradient tool, select Radial, leave it like this, go to Properties panel, click on Opacity, and select Hard Light, 80%. 81 will be just great. Now go to this panel and place this marker like this. I will close this window, press V for selection tool, select this dark ellipse and make it a little bit bigger. Then I hold Alt, duplicate it, I for eyedropper tool, pick this yellow color, double click on fill, and change color to something like this. Alright, V for selection tool, place it here. I'll make it even smaller, a little bit. Now we need to group these layers. Select them like this, deselect head, hold shift, click on head, make sure that you have selected only these layers, Ctrl G to group them, then go for reflect tool, hold Alt, click here, and click on copy. Alright, now as you can see we need to move this object to the left, double click on this group, select this object, hold shift and move it here. Exit this group, double click somewhere on the workspace. Now let's create claws. Eyedropper tool, pick yellow color. Go here and select rounded rectangle tool. Draw one rectangle here. Press V, hold Alt and copy it like this. Select them all, Ctrl G to group them, hold Alt and copy this group, like so. Select them all and place them here. I will move them down a little bit, like this. Great, let's create these parts. I for eyedropper tool, pick this color, L for ellipse tool, draw ellipse like this, M for rectangle tool, select them all. In Pathfinder, click to minus front. Then click here, Swap Fill and Stroke, zoom in, press P for pen tool, add a point here, then A for direct selection tool, select this point and click on delete. Now change stroke to 5 points, I think it will be enough. Ctrl C, Ctrl F, click here on Swap Fill and Stroke, double click on Gradient tool, Linear, draw Gradient tool like this, press V, close this window, place this object behind our stroke, select stroke, click on Stroke in Properties panel, in Profile, click here. Alright, so select these objects, place them here, deselect them, select only gradient object, and in Properties, go to Opacity and change it to Multiply. Play with values here, I think we'll leave 60%, and you can pick Gradient tool and place marker like this. Press V for selection tool, then we need to select these two layers, select your stroke layer, your gradient layer, Ctrl G to group them, hold Alt, move them like this, then Ctrl D. After this, hold Alt, move this object like this, move it down, hold Alt, duplicate it, then select them all, Ctrl G to group these objects also. Now select all objects, go to Align, Horizontal Align Center. Alright, you see that we need to group another object, Ctrl Z to undo. Select these objects, Ctrl G to group them, select these objects, group them also. Now, as we have them grouped, select all these layers, horizontal align center. Alright, move these objects like this. To make this all look more interesting, we'll add a few gradients, and after this we'll change these gradients to noise texture. So first of all, select head, Ctrl C, Ctrl F, double click on gradient tool, linear. With gradient tool, draw a line like this. In opacity, select multiply and change opacity to 60%. Alright, close this window, press V for selection tool, select this object, Ctrl C, Ctrl F, and we'll do basically the same. Now we need it to another side, draw it like this. In opacity, select multiply, change opacity to 60%, close this window, press V, and deselect this object. You can play with opacity and with markers, you get the main idea. I see that I want to change proportions here a bit, because these curves are not so soft as I wanted. I think I'll be happier with this one. Ungroup, delete this, select this layer, reflect tool, hold Alt, click on central point, and click on copy. Alright, I will group these objects. As you can see, you can change proportions in a few clicks. Don't be afraid to change anything anytime. Alright, so now this is my favorite part. Let's create a branch. Dark color, press P for pen tool, and almost randomly build points like this. We'll move them a little bit after we build the base shape. Don't build too many points because it will be hard to manipulate them. And connect these points. Alright, zoom in a bit, right click, arrange, send to back. Now pick direct selection tool, pick this point, place it here, this point here. Just play with points like this. If you need to add point, press P for pen tool and click here, for example. If you need to delete point, press P and click on point again. Add more branches if you want. If you want to add branch, press P for pen tool, add points, A for direct selection tool, select these 2 points, drag them like this, then P again, add a few points again, A for direct selection tool, select these points, change them like this, then add a few points again, P, add a point, something like this. Alright. So I will leave it as it is, you get the main idea. Look what you like, what you don't like. It's never too late to change anything in your illustration. And now, before we created background, let's change these usual gradients to noise effect. We'll make it in a few clicks only. For example, let's select this gradient, go to Effect, Texture, Grain. Here you can see values. You can change them, OK, and here you can see your effect. In Properties panel, under Opacity, click on Grain. As you can see, you can change it anytime, so don't be afraid to play with your values. I'll make it something like this. Click OK. I think I'll change opacity a bit to 40%. Then I'll do the same here. Select this gradient. You can even click here, choose an effect, texture, grain. Click OK. Alright, change opacity to 40%. Then I'll do the same for these ones. I'll deselect them, A for direct selection tool. I'll pick only gradients. And we'll do basically the same. Choose an effect, texture, grain. Click OK. Alright, change opacity to 40%. And I think in this one we need to delete these strokes. So I press A for direct selection tool, select these strokes and delete them, like this. As you can see, all looks more professional now, I would say. Let's apply effect to eyes. A for direct selection tool, select them both. Change effect, texture, grain, the same values. Change opacity like this. You might be happy with this result, and I will show you another one. I will press Ctrl Z, select this one, Ctrl C, Ctrl F, then change effect to texture, grain, click OK. In opacity, change blending mode to multiply, and change opacity to something like 10%, maybe even less. You can even play with blending modes. You can try soft light here, increase opacity in this case to something like this. So you can take a look at 2 different results. I think that both results are good. It depends on your personal decision. You can use it like this, and you can use it like this. So I'll press Ctrl Z, select this gradient, Ctrl C, Ctrl F, texture, grain, click OK, opacity, blending mode, soft light. Now I will zoom out. You can change gradients and it will change grain also. I will show you. Select this object, pick gradient tool, change it like this, and you can play with it like so. Let's apply this effect to close. Press Ctrl C, Ctrl F, then press I for eyedropper tool, click on some gradient, let's click here. Alright, gradient tool, drag it like this, then go to change effect, texture, grain, click OK, in opacity select multiply, alright, 40%, it looks just great. So now let's build background in a few clicks. Press I for eyedropper tool, pick this color, M for rectangle tool, right click, arrange, send to back, then Ctrl C, Ctrl F, double click on gradient tool, select radial, play with markers to make soft gradient, then I will increase this ellipse, like this. Alright, press V, close this window. Click here and choose an effect, texture, grain. Click OK. In opacity, change mode to multiply. And let's choose 40% also. Alright, deselect these objects, select them all, deselect these ones, press Ctrl G to group. I will hide artboards, view, hide artboards. Alright, it took some time, but we've created cool owl. It looks really awesome. We used a little range of tools to achieve this result. Only shape builder, ellipse, rectangle and pen tool. Also there was the trendy noise effect. I hope today's tutorial really helped you out. Drop a comment below and let me know what you liked about this video. If you enjoyed this tutorial, support this channel by clicking on subscribe and what's most important, by clicking on the bell icon to get notifications about newest interesting and useful tutorials from TNT. This was TNT Tutorials. See you in next videos!